Wah! Hello there, and welcome to the new War from the video. Today's all about the worst jet in War Thunder, made even worse, which can actually be done. Now, before we get into today's video, I thought I would first have a quick little rant, show you the Me262 CTB and the wonderful map of Afghanistan, which is, well, for those of you who are not educated on this in schools, which I'm assuming is all of you, is where Hitler conducted his top secret experiments for these, semi-not really produced jets. And that's not actually what bothers me. What bothers me is that Afghanistan as a map, which is supposed to be this battleground for top-tier jets, has a fucking grasshopper runway. What the fuck? And to make matters worse, it seems that Hitler's plan to not waste too much of its booster fuel on the Me262 CTB is going to cost me and my fellow F-30 Japanese Sabre, which obviously is completely native to the country of Afghanistan, to just crash. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go back and collect our crew locks. But we don't give up because, well, giving up is not in one CV when it comes to playing War Thunder. No, we go straight back into another game, and this time we are in Krimsk, in Russia, summer 1945. This is a brilliant case of where a jet like the Me262 should be placed in. It's an alternate history scenario for a plane and for the map. It's perfect. Except the fact that we're never going to spawn in, because Gaijin's hamster, which is in control of Gaijin's server energy, has just decided to, I don't know, fall asleep, die, get an aneurysm, or maybe he just decided he's going to go and join the coding team. Obviously, being a War Thunder player, I've got better shit to do in my life, so I'm going to bail out to the hangar and figure out what the problem really was. Apparently, I joined with a tank. Woo! Alright, I've had my breather. Let's focus on the gist of this video. So, what makes the worst jet in the game, which I think is the HE-162A2, even worse? Well, is the HE-162A1. So, is it worse because instead of 2 guns it has 1? No, it actually still gets 2 guns. In fact, it doesn't make much sense because this plane has bigger guns, and bigger is better, right? Well, not quite. The reason why this plane is such a abysmal heap of junk is because none of you actually have it. Well, I'm assuming that there's maybe like 2 people, maybe 2 people watching this video actually have the HE-162. And the reason is because to unlock this plane, you would have had to play a very difficult tournament held in November of 2017. Now, the tournament itself was also a tournament in which players were able to obtain the famous E100. Now, when I was doing the tournament, there were 3 different types of them. You had the arcade, the realistic, and the simulator. There were only 20 matches you could play, and you were given a random team of 5 players. Needless to say, it was a challenging aspect because you had to do, in most cases, the winning yourself, right? If you were given a trash team and the enemy had good team members, you had to really, well, pull some magic out of your backbones. Now, for me, the tournament is, to this day, it remains in my mind as the best 20 matches plus 20 matches I played, because I played the realistic battle and I enjoyed it so much that I thought, fuck it, I'm going to play arcade as well. And to this day, I'm not entirely certain, because during that event, I won, or rather obtained, both the HE-162A1 and the E100, so I'm not entirely certain which one was unlocked in which game mode. So I'm sort of joking around saying that I got the E100 in arcade, because it's entirely possible I in fact did. So what's the difference between this Volksjäger and the other one, the one that everybody has access to? Well, instead of 20mm MG151s, you get the MG 103. Wow, my brain having a proper fart right now. 30mm. And 30mm are great because they do more damage, except that most of the time they just don't. They're a very difficult gun to work with. In fact, it brings me back to the old days of BF-109s. Now, at the moment, I think nearly every 109 you unlock in Tier 4, so the G10, the G6, the G14, and the K4, are going to have options to swap the nose cannon for a 20mm, or vice versa. In the old days, I think, if I remember correctly, the G10 had a 20mm, the G6 had a 30mm, the G14 didn't exist, and the K4 had a 30mm. And so as we were progressing through the tech tree, it meant you had to learn how to use the 30 mils. Now, one of the tactics we used, I remember putting 20mm gun pods to sort of compensate for not knowing how to aim the 30mm nose-mounted gun. And of course, as you start putting more and more hours into the game and you start to muscle memory these weapons, it became a matter of not having to really learn again. It's like riding a bike, you know? If you didn't ride a bike for 2 years and I give you a bike, it will take you about 15 minutes to, get the hold of it. It's no different with these weapons. Of course, it doesn't help that Gaijin sometimes does change weapons, or at least changes the damage that weapons do, or maybe changes the belt. The 30 mils, I think, are still more difficult than, for example, the Russian 37 on the MiG. Because the Russian 37 on the MiG is just one cannon with very high potency. If it hits, it usually does a lot of damage. These 30 mils, they can be, a hit and miss. So, am I a suicidal person for using stealth? I think, yes. On a case of a plane like this, it's a horrible mistake to use stealth, right? Tracers here, air belt would have been the best option. Would have given me a bit of a better understanding of how to actually get these shots on the target I'm trying to engage, because then things like this just simply wouldn't happen. I mean, an AFK French pilot, we're talking negative Kelvin's IQ here, and I still somehow managed to completely botcher it up. And to make matters worse, I essentially flew in front of his guns for a split second. Obviously, he didn't realize, because, I don't know, we have the French, we have fly the plane in a turnfight, even though it's a cock. So I'll stop there, but he's on fire. That's my first and only kill for this match, because I'm going to now have to choose between 5 different targets. F at F1, a Tempest, a P-51, a P-59, and a P-51H. I don't even know what the fuck a P-59 is, so I'm going to engage it, and then I realize, it's that jet that turns well, and I'm not leading enough because I forgot that I'm flying with Me262 shells types. Whatever. Of course, I'm now engaged by my favourite target, a P-51H, who's got one thing and one thing only, which is a lot of guns, and he can spray them, because why the hell not? Bit of a pain, but nothing I can do about it. Going to turn back around, and I'll try to go for that P-59 again. It looks like such a succulent target, seeing that I've never actually flown one. And he's dead. The weird thing about playing this game sometimes is that, look at that. I mean, he's just going in a straight-up climb. I could have engaged him here, but I thought, hey, that's a free kill for my teammate. And yeah, American teams, like, this is it. This match is over. That Tempest is the only person that remains, and we've done nothing. And the worst part about this is not that we've got, a free win, or that I'm going to get 10,000 silver lions, or actually research points at the end of this game, because I'm flying what is essentially a gifted premium, if I'm not mistaken. My point being that these matches are not exhilarating. They're not, for me, right? I'm looking for a challenge. I'm flying the worst plane in the game for a reason. I want to have a really, really hard time flying. In fact, the most fun I've had in the past week of playing the game 5 times has been flying some of the worst vehicles in the game. Whether it's they're underperforming, over-tiered, have not enough ammunition, have bad guns. I've had most fun with those because I feel like the challenge of flying that plane, as opposed to the incompetence of the team you're fighting, creates this fantastic balance which you need to have even the slimmest of entertainment. And yeah, as I said, end result, 5th on the team, 52,000 silver lions for 1 kill in 10,000 RP. I can't complain with that, that's fantastic, except that I'm not actually researching anything. Yeah. Next match. Now, let me tell you how this one's going to go. This is the second game that I played, and I want to do it a bit differently. So to keep the entertainment factor high, and to keep the enemy's embarrassment even higher, we're going to do something that is probably quite dumb. We're going to take a slow jet with slow acceleration, with slow top speed, with slow velocity guns, and we're going to fly it at ground level. Because we can. Because I'm actually quite curious how this plane will do in a form of aggressive defensive flying. Meaning, we're going to be aggressive at first, then we're going to get outturned, and then we're going to try to be defensive against the planes we're going to be facing. And as you can probably see, we are on the map of Berlin. We've just taken off from the Tempelhof Airport, or as the Germans would say, Flughafen. It's wunderbar. It really is. I'm very happy to be able to fly a plane. Can you notice something on the screen right now? AD4 Skyraider just destroyed a ground target, 2 ground targets, in the time that it took for me to take off. If you're going to try to tell me that this game is not ultimately biased for people that are flying bombers and ground attackers, you'd be a dingus, right? Because this is ridiculous. In the time that it took for me to take off, this dude's already at ground targets. And by the time I reach him, he's going to have 15,000 points and 25 million golden eagles because, bias. Anyway, as I was saying before I got sidetracked by a little bit of red and blue text on the bottom of the screen, for me it's very important that the map that we're playing on is, well, obviously it has to be balanced, but more so it has to be the correct map for the vehicles that we're playing. If I just spawned in on Korea, yeah, it'd be annoying, but I'd be happy because it's a good map, right? If it said alternate history, Korea, I would have no problem whatsoever because it's alternate history. But again, you can't just slop alternate history on things and just, this makes sense. Let's alternate history, battle for Hokkaido, Germans there. Berlin, this is exactly what the Volksjäger was used for. For those of you who don't know, this plane that you're watching here, Hitler had this wonderful idea. He was just going to create a jet that could be flown by everybody. Your mum, her sister, her grandchildren. I don't know what he was thinking, but, it's here. We can play it. And we are all exactly that. We're kids, children, mothers, granddads. Who gives? The Volksjäger. The plane for the masses. And so to be flying it on Berlin, the last defense before everything comes crumbling down in the, obviously positive defeat of Germany, this is how it should be. And there it is, the 84, the Sky Raider. Can we hit him? A little bit of a head-on, and that's about nothing for either of us. And then a Corsair, because, one Corsair wasn't low IQ enough. Let's have another one flying at low level. Again, bit of a cheeky head-on. Neither of us getting hits in. But this is how you learn. You fire off a couple of shots, and what? Am I turn-fighting him? Dude, am I turn-fighting a Corsair? Yes, I am, and I'll tell you why. Because this Corsair is another one of those low IQ Kelvin players. He's got bombs on. Oof, thank you for the free kill, good sir. And back to flying against the 84 Sky Raider. And he's on fire, so that's a no from me. Maybe perhaps as we wait for the next target to engage us, a quick word from me about the Volksjäger, what I think about this plane. It's got quite a nice spot in my heart due to the fact that in the history of the game, this was one of the few jets that one could actually fly out in, and it was a very fun jet to learn how to play because it taught you how to be quite patient, how to be energy retention savvy. Now we've got a problem. That's a Spitfire, and a Spitfire, as we all know, turns like, ooh, that's a problem. Oh no, are we turn fighting it? We are turn fighting a Spitfire in the worst jet in the game, made even worse. And we are God. I've no idea how that kill even happened. Obviously, like I said in the past, I only play this game once I'm hammered as a... what's a good example for being hammered? Like a nail. So absolutely don't remember that happening, but probably was quite ecstatic about it because pulling off a shot like that, it's not an everyday moment. So, the next Spitfire's coming by, smoke is on, we are now a pinata for anybody willing to hit, and I don't really, we got a problem. Hello, spotting system. Yeah, let's just put all the planes in one tiny bit. I'm dead. I'll tell you already right now, and we all know this, I'm dead, but we'll try to stay alive as long as possible. Try to bait a few of these players with my orange engine and soon to be an orange pilot flopping into the ground. That narval nearly just ate the dirt, but yeah. Against this Spitfire, who's actually started to use his throttle controls and flaps like one should, we have not much of a choice. But hey, I think that game was fun, short, exhilarating, and definitely entertaining for all of your retinas to be able to see. Let me know in the comment section down below which plane you'd like to see reviewed next. I am already telling you that the vehicle of choice is going to be the Yak-15, the Yak-15P, and the Yak-17, whose content I already have prepared for you, because I've been a good content creator. Until next time, take care, and